Chosen one, pause here for a moment and listen carefully. You didn't find this message by accident. Maybe you've heard something quiet, but unmistakable, like a voice calling out in the middle of a forest. You don't know exactly where it came from, but deep down, you know it's calling you. This isn't just another video, and this moment isn't just another scroll. If you're still here, listening, it means something and you recognizes what this is. It's not entertainment. It's not curiosity. It's a door that's already opened. And once it opens, you can't go back to how things were. Not everyone is meant to walk through it. Most won't even see it. That's okay. This message isn't for everyone. It's for the ones who know even if they don't understand why yet. If your life has felt heavy, but oddly purposeful, if you felt set apart without knowing exactly what for, then this is for you. You're not crazy. You're not too late. You're here because something sacred is unfolding. And the one who opened that door for you, he's been waiting for this moment. So pause, listen. And if your spirit knows this is for you, keep going. You didn't show up early. You didn't show up late. You're here at the exact moment heaven allowed. Not a second off. Maybe this message found you while you were doing something ordinary, folding laundry, sitting in your car, making coffee. Or maybe you haven't been to church in years. You used to believe. You used to pray. But something happened. Loss. Disappointment. Silence. There's a woman who lost her husband 3 years ago. She hasn't stepped inside a church since the funeral. Every Sunday morning, she feels the ache, but never the pull to go. Until today. She didn't mean to find this video. It just played. But what if it didn't just play? What if something sacred was timed perfectly just for her, just for you? God doesn't operate on our calendars. His timing isn't rushed or random. It's precise. And the fact that you're here right now is proof of that. So don't brush this off. Don't assume this is a coincidence. You've arrived exactly when you were supposed to. Not because you planned it, because heaven did. And now that you're here, there's something you need to hear. You thought it was small, just a quiet decision. Something nobody saw. But heaven did. And what you thought was a whisper sent a shock wave through the spirit realm. There's a father whose son stole from him, cleaned out his savings, and disappeared. Everyone told the father to press charges, to cut him off, to protect what little he had left. But one night, without fanfare, without drama, the father dropped to his knees and said 5 words, "I forgive him." He's my son. No one clapped, no one saw. But heaven moved, because when a heart chooses mercy over anger, obedience over pride, love over fear, something eternal shifts. That's what you did. Maybe not in the same way, but you made a decision. You could have snapped. You could have shut down. You could have chosen revenge. But instead, you walked away. You let go. You stayed kind. You stayed honest. And no, it didn't feel powerful at the time. It probably felt lonely, even foolish. But in the kingdom of God, the small things carry the most weight. You thought it was just a moment. Heaven saw it as a move of maturity. of breakthrough, of faith. You did what many never do, and heaven responded, not with noise, but with movement. Something shifted because of what you did. No one saw what you held back. No one knew the battle happening inside you. You could have said something. You had every reason to defend yourself, to clap back, to prove your point, but you didn't. You stayed quiet. Not because you were weak, but because you've grown. That moment, the one nobody applauded, nobody noticed, nobody thanked you for, heaven recorded all of it. Because silence can speak louder than words. And self-control. That's power. This wasn't about avoiding conflict. It was about stepping into maturity, real, spiritual maturity, the kind that doesn't need to be seen to be real. You didn't need a stage. You didn't need validation. You didn't need someone to tell you, well done. Because deep inside, your spirit already knew this was a test. Not from people, not from life, but from God. And you passed. Heaven doesn't measure success the way the world does. It doesn't count how loud you speak. It counts how well you listen. It doesn't reward pride. It honors restraint. You did the right thing when no one was watching. And that's what sets you apart. Others may never know what you held back. But heaven does. And heaven moved. There's a moment in every calling where the training ends and the assignment begins. Think of Joseph. Years in a prison cell, forgotten, misunderstood, betrayed by his own family. He didn't know when or if he'd ever get out. But one morning, the guards came, and by nightfall, Joseph was standing in Pharaoh's court, holding authority over an entire nation. It didn't happen slowly. It happened suddenly because the season had shifted. And that's where you are. This isn't just another stretch of waiting. You're not in preparation anymore. You're being positioned. Not because you fought your way here, but because you were faithful in the quiet places. There's a woman who was deeply hurt for years. She raised her kids alone, worked 2 jobs, and kept going even when no one said thank you. She used to pray for healing. Now she thinks differently, chooses differently, moves differently. That's not survival. That's transformation. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. And that's what's happening to you. Not a surface change, but something internal, permanent, weighty. Heaven has seen enough. The test is complete. The page is turning. You're not just recovering. You're being released. So don't doubt the shift. It's real. It's now. And it's already begun. You haven't been under attack because you're weak. You've been under attack because you're dangerous. That ache you carry, the one you thought no one else saw, the enemy saw it. And it terrified him. Not because it made you fragile, but because you didn't break. You kept going. You kept praying. You stayed kind when bitterness would have been easier. And now, you're becoming the one thing the enemy can't control, healed. He knows the version of you who's been wounded. But this version, the one who's learning, maturing, discerning, that's the threat. There's a reason the pressure has increased. The reason it feels like everything hit at once. Fear, doubt, loneliness, sudden conflict, silent heaviness. But that's not chaos. That's confirmation. Heaven doesn't panic, but hell does. Because when you stopped reacting out of old patterns, when you stopped shrinking for others' comfort, when you stopped needing permission to grow, something shifted. The attacks didn't start because you were slipping. They started because you were rising. You're not a target because you're broken. You're a target because you're becoming whole. And the enemy knows a healed believer is a dangerous one. There are no headlines in heaven, no breaking news, no applause. But there is a record. Every quiet act of obedience, every moment you choose faith over fear, every time you stayed when it would have been easier to run, heaven saw it all. You may not be on anyone's radar down here, but up there, your name is known. Psalm 91:11 says, "For he will command his angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways." And those angels, they don't just protect. They record. There's a soldier who served his entire life in silence. No medals, no ceremony, but he never abandoned his post. And when his time came, he heard the only words that ever really mattered. Well done. That's what this is about. Not recognition from the world, but remembrance from heaven. There is a divine record keeper. Not to shame you, but to honor you. Because every time you forgave without being asked, every time you gave when it cost you, every time you stayed faithful when no one else stayed at all, you made a mark. And you may never see the full ripple effect on this side of eternity. But heaven has. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are recorded. And when heaven writes it down, no one can erase it. You're not called to live like everyone else. And deep down, you've always known that. While others choose comfort, you felt the pull towards something more. While others blend in, something in you refuses to stay quiet. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were called to walk a narrower road, a quieter one, a higher one. Jesus spoke of the narrow gate, the one few find. It doesn't look impressive. It doesn't feel easy, but it leads to life. Revelation 3:8 says, "See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. That door, it's not flashy, but it's real and it's yours." You've started building your life on something stronger. Not opinion, not trends, rock, truth, like the man who built his house on solid ground. When the storm came, it didn't fall because the foundation held. And that's what you're doing now, brick by brick, decision by decision. You're choosing what's rare, what's right, what's real. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone needs to. Because what God opens for you, no one else can close. She didn't expect it to feel this lonely. One by one, the friends she laughed with grew distant. The group chats went quiet. The invites stopped coming. All she did was get serious about her faith. She started praying more, talking less. She started setting boundaries. She stopped pretending. And the silence that followed, it was louder than she expected. But it wasn't punishment, it was protection. Separation isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's preparation. God was pulling her away, not to isolate her, but to insulate what He was growing in her. And the same may be happening to you. You've been wondering why certain people are drifting, why familiar places don't feel right anymore. why solitude feels like your new normal. But this isn't abandonment, it's alignment. Because what God is building in you is sacred. And not everyone can walk with you into it. The isolation is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of favor. It's not the end of your connection. It's the beginning of your consecration. God is clearing the room so He can fill it with exactly who and what belongs. Let Him. You're not alone. You're just being set apart. You are not invisible. It may have felt like that, like no one noticed, like nothing was changing, like your efforts weren't amounting to anything. But God noticed. Think of the gardener who plants a tree that doesn't bloom for 10 years. He waters it anyway. He clears weeds around it. He checks on it every morning. Neighbors pass by and laugh. Why care for something that never grows, but he keeps tending it quietly, faithfully? Then, one spring, without warning, the first blossom breaks through. Not by accident, but because it was time. And that's what's happening to you. Every season you've endured, every tear, every unseen act of faithfulness has led to this moment. Not a reward, a release. Psalm 37:23 says, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delights in His way." You haven't been wandering. You've been walking step by step on a path heaven designed. You weren't delayed. You were being developed. And now, the season is shifting. The ground beneath you is changing. And what you planted in silence is about to speak for itself. No more doubting your role. No more wondering if you missed it. You haven't missed a thing. You've been right where God needed you. And now, He's about to show you why. This door didn't open because you forced it. It didn't open because you begged, performed, or proved yourself. It opened because you're ready. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. Revelation 3:8. You've walked past this door before. You've dreamed about what might be on the other side, but back then, it wasn't time. Not because you weren't worthy, but because you weren't yet anchored. Now you are. And that changes everything. You're not walking in with fear this time. You're walking in with peace. Not asking for permission, just taking your place. This is the moment where what used to intimidate you now recognizes you. The room that once felt too big now fits. The opportunities that once seemed impossible feel aligned. Not because the door changed, but because you did. God has prepared a season where closed doors stay closed because they no longer match who you've become. And the right ones, they don't resist you, they receive you. This door didn't need you to knock. It opened because heaven said, "Now." Step through it with confidence, not pride, but clarity. You're not who you were, and this time, you know it. There was a grandfather who never preached from a pulpit, never wrote a book, never led a crowd, but he prayed every morning before the sun rose. He whispered names into heaven, his children, his grandchildren, even the ones not born yet. No one saw it. No one praised it. But decades later, when addiction tried to take his grandson, something stopped it. A prayer, a seed, a covenant. Deuteronomy 7:9 says, "He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments." That's legacy. And whether you realize it or not, that's what you're building. With every step of obedience, every decision to break a cycle, every moment you choose healing over hurt, you're shifting the future. Not just for you, but for those who come after you. They may never know the battles you fought, but they'll walk in the peace you prayed for. So keep going. Your faith isn't just changing your life, it's rewriting your bloodline. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to announce it. You just need to keep walking. Because heaven already saw the struggle you overcame, the battle you didn't post about, the healing no one clapped for. You've been seen. You're not a draft. You're not a work in progress waiting for approval. You're the confirmation. You are the evidence that God finishes what he starts. That quiet obedience carries weight. That faith, real faith, doesn't need a spotlight. This isn't about hype. It's about holiness. And you've stepped into something sacred. So move forward. Not with noise, but with authority. The kind that doesn't chase validation. The kind that doesn't flinch at resistance. The kind that knows exactly who sent you. You don't have to shout. You just have to live it. Because the ones who move mountains aren't always the loudest. They're the most rooted, the most faithful, the most unseen. And now, it's your time. Not to explode, but to emerge. Not to strive, but to stand. You have been seen. You have been sent. And God never overlooks anything done in faithfulness. Not one moment. Not one tear. Not one step. He saw it all. And he's moving because of it.